And could you tell us your name?
Lettie Clark,
Lettie Clark. And what year were you born?
1914. It's a long time ago.
Not so long. And where are you from originally?
From Prestonsburg, Kentucky is where I was born.
Oh, and did you grow up here in Sauter County?
No, we lived in Loveland, Ohio, from the time I was about 10 years old.
So you started out in Kentucky?
I was born in Kentucky. At 10 months, we moved to Ohio, and we've been here ever since.
And how did you come to be in Portsmouth?
My daddy died, and my brother, who was a dentist, started a dental tech clinic here a long time ago too. And he moved me and my mother and brothers here. I had 7 brothers and 1 sister.
That's a rowdy house right there. See. And we asked you to come and talk about your experience with the 1937 flood, so would you tell us some about that?
Well, I was living down on the corner of 4th and Washington Streets in a big old red brick house. It was about 5 steps up to the yard area with a wall around it, and about 5 more steps to the front door, to the first hallway. And then Dr. Carl Petker lived on the ground floor, he and his wife. And we lived on the 2nd floor. We had 5 rooms. It was a big house, 5 rooms. And I lived there with my brothers and my mother, because my daddy had already died. And probably lived there until I met my husband. And we did keep it a secret for about a year until the flood came. Then we had to tell it, of course.
You kept a secret of you being married?
Pardon me?
What was the secret?
I was about 18 or 19, I think, and I was going with this boy, and we went to Greenup, which was the usual place then to go get married because we didn't have wedding ceremonies then. We didn't. In those years, there wasn't much money around, so he was taking care of his mother. So we decided we'd get married and keep it a secret, and he could still help his mother, and we wouldn't have to. And I could live at my home with my brothers and mother. Sort of sneaky way to do it, but that's the way we did. And then the flood came, and he lived on the hill, and we were downtown, of course. So he anxiously waited for us to move out. We stuck it out until the river came up. Didn't have the flood wall we have now. Came over into the city, and it kept rising up against into the yards and up over the houses. And we happened to live in a big brick house, and it was about 3 or 4 feet off the main ground, and then up several flights of steps upstairs. So we got out of the bedroom window upstairs and got off the rooftop of the porch, stepped right into the boat. They'd been after us to get out. They said, the river is rising, you have to get out. So Dr. Petker's wife, he had already died. They came upstairs to live with us, so they didn't want to get out either. But finally we all had to leave. And the river continued to rise, so we got out on the other side of the viaduct near Lincoln and Offner Street. That's where we got out of the boat.
Who came with the boat?
It were people that I suppose volunteered in the city to try to get the residents out of their homes. And it was in a small boat, larger than a canoe, but it was a rowboat, you know. So it was quite an experience, I tell you. And when we did arrive, my husband, who lived on the hill, was there to pick me up. He says, "You're going home with me. We're going to tell we've gotten married." You know.
I guess that's a good enough time to say so.
I thought so. It's a good thing we did because I found out that month that I was pregnant. We had a big time over that, of course. My mother was really upset, though, because, you know, she'd been left out, really. But she got over it. And we didn't know it. Times were so hard. We didn't see how we could afford an apartment, so we just didn't tell. Then we had to.
So you went up and stayed with your husband and his mother who was living there?
They lived on McConnell Avenue.
And that was, I'm not familiar with McConnell. Is that, it's a little up the hill, so did the water never got up near that house?
It continued to rise where I lived. It probably got to within about a foot of the second floor. There's a lot of water. It came, go to the bottom of, like I said, what is that street down at the bottom of Alkner Hill? Runs east and west. Park Avenue runs into it, Alkner runs into it, Lincoln Street runs into it. I can't think of the name of it. I believe it was Robinson.
How long did you have to stay in the house at McConnell? On McConnell Street, I mean.
Well, we found an apartment for $23 a month. Then we found out we couldn't pay $23 a month. He only made $12 a week.
How long did your family have to stay up there? Did they stay with you in the house in McConnell for a while until the water went down?
No, we found an apartment of our own.
Okay. And then how long did your family that lived in the brick house have to stay with you guys?
They went to, we actually got out of the boat, and the people that took us, including my husband, took us up to Krause's house at 24th and Waller Hill.
Oh, so they didn't ever stay in the
They were
house on
taking
McConnell.
people in up there, and that's, I don't know where the others all went, but they were, people volunteered to keep them till they could find a place, so the water went down. I worked at Kresge's dollar store, which we don't have anymore. No stores downtown like we had.
My mom used to tell me about going to Kresge's.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there were all kind of stores up and down Chillicothe Street and Gallia and 2nd Street. And of course we have the malls now. They took care of the stores. And Martin's was a beautiful store. And there were lovely jewelry stores, men's clothing stores, dry goods stores. They just don't have those anymore. They're all consolidated in walls.
So after you escaped the flood at your house, do you remember how long it took before the water started going down and everybody started heading home?
I don't actually remember because it was so exciting with all these new areas. It probably took a week for them to subside. I remember going back, and we didn't go back to the house where I had lived because Bill and I were there. And my mother went to another apartment up on the hill, and my brothers, each one in turn got married the same year, so it was a completely different lifestyle after the flood.
It's a lot of change in 1 year. Do you remember anything about the cleanup process? Was the town...
Well, like I say, I helped in Kresge's, helped to clean up. We scrubbed and swept and mopped and did everything like that. And it took a while to get the things in order. And we did, before that, at the very beginning when we moved to Portsmouth, we had a streetcar, believe it or not, from the side of the bridge all the way up to New Boston. It went down 2nd Street and up Gallia to 9th Street, and then it went all the way to New Boston. Then they eliminated that took the tracks out, put in buses. So we had bus lines. We don't have that anymore. Everybody began to drive a car. We couldn't afford cars like they have now. Each family has at least one or two cars.
I really like your story about the not telling that you've been married, and then that's amazing. And the next question on the list is actually, what was your most unusual experience in that time frame? But that's probably it.
It's hard to say. So many things happen, and we're excited about having our baby too. So, in the meantime, Bill got a better job, and he started working for Dayton Portsmouth Foundry, and he started his own machine shop from them. They encouraged him to do it. Gave him all the brake drums he could handle. So, and we made quite a good living that way. Very good.
What do you think has been the most significant change that you've seen happen in Sayota County?
That'd be hard to explain. It happened so gradually. Well, they did improve the streets and the buildings. And the housing. And more apartment houses. The Hearst Hotel was a big thing then, and the furniture stores. But they just seemed to dissolve after the malls began to come in. I remember Art Gulker had a gift shop on 5th Street, and he said the mall will be the ruining of downtown Portsmouth. And he was right. They're long gone now too. I'm almost long gone. It's hard to believe I'd be living here almost 98 years old, and I'm able to walk and drive a car, and the Lord has really blessed me.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you think I should ask, or that you think you would like to make sure you tell about?
Well, I'm sure there's lots of little incidentals that I don't remember. The exciting part was that we did were able to get a home, my husband and I, and get together after that. And we had our first child. We had 2 children. One is Sharon Blaney, who lives in Louisville, and the other one lives here, Sue Doyle. Maybe you know her. She's a nurse at the hospital. And they have children, and I've always helped raise their children so they could work.
It's funny how they kind of overlap each other.
Right. Well, she married Tim Doyle, and his father had a big landscape business then, and then Tim took over. And of course now, been so long, he's retired too, and they've closed down completely.
I have seen that store.
Closed down.
Okay.
The years take care of all those things.
Well, we're going to keep this in our local history department. Is there anything that you want to, message that you want on there for people that view it, life advice or anything?
Well, I'm really delighted that I was able to come down here and talk with you and tell you about what I can remember, which is not very much. But I just thank you very much for inviting me to come.
No problem. We love having you come down and talk.